Welcome to the Loveland Report and Loner Ranger Show. We are back for our second segment, talking about rates, where they're at. Inventory actually came down a little. The market shifted a little bit more towards the seller's market. So that's why we're saying get in now. The bottom, we're at the bottom. Prices are going to start going up.
Towards the sellers, but we're still in a buyer's.
Right? We're 5.5 months. No, we're seller's market. So then this just depends on where you're at too in town. But for the most part,
does.
But it only takes a little tick up in sales to eat up that
really
inventory.
in the middle, where it's more of a balance.
We're balanced, but some places could be hot. Some places you could have 50 competitors. But anyway, these listings here, this one here, and this is how you got to be priced. I've got a lakefront for $337,000,
Nice.
4-bedroom home, 2,000 square feet with a new roof. You are waterfront. This is a pool home in Deltona, 2,000 square feet. So this is the best price waterfront home. This is one of the best priced pool homes with this square footage, and that's for $337,000. Sola Vita, $257,000. This is an estate. They will take an offer. 1,700 square feet. Most of the homes this size are priced for $280,000, $290,000. This one's $257,000, and this estate wants this home sold for $258,000. Then we go to the Trails of Montverde. This is a cool house, Bruce. This is a little piece of Ponderosa here. 2.5 acres. 5 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, 5,200 square feet. You can have horses. You got plenty of room. The main house is 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths. The guest suite out back is basically an efficiency apartment. Put the in-laws out there, the outlaws. 4-car garage, plenty of room to do what you want. Bring your horses. It's a custom built. This is all one story. Sometimes you get this much square footage, Bruce. Everything gets boxy. It's just a big box. All the bedrooms are up. This is a ranch-style home. 20-foot ceilings, gorgeous fireplace in the family room, big, huge kitchen.
Lakefront for how much?
No, this is 2.5 acres, not lakefront. Down the street, they're selling brand new ones for $1.1 million that are only 3,000 square feet.
2.5 acres. You want acreage, and that one's for how much?
That's it. That's a perfect amount of acreage too. Most people just want, don't tell me where to put my boat. Don't tell me I can't have my jet ski sitting outside the garage. This is what they want. I want my horses. I want my animals. This guy's got his camper there. Actually just sold the camper. He's got his RV out back. He's got a
2.5 acres, man. That's what you want. That's actually perfect.
That's a perfect size.
Not too big to mow.
Yep. So, in fact, he told me on his mower, it's done in about 60 minutes. South Bay Villas. I've got one for $1,050,000. This house is 3,100 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, tile roof, circular drive, travertine floors throughout. Great plan. 2-2 split plan, big master. Everything views the pool. This is right part of Bay Hill and just south of Bay Hill. And great house. It's an estate also. Needs to be sold for $1,050,000. So you want to take a look at any of these, call me 407-352-8118 or go to cleveloveland.com. Agents, you want to call my office to get showing instructions. I co-broke on all of my listings. No games played there.
That means that he's paying the buyer's agent.
The buyer's agent. So you don't have to worry about that. You're getting paid. There's no games being played with that either. So call me 407-352-8118.
Yeah, or call the Loner Ranger. Get yourself started with your mortgage application. If you want to purchase, refinance, build a home, renovate a home, whatever it is, reverse mortgage, we have them all. 407-250-9144. What we do have coming up is Hometown Heroes again, coming back in July. So we don't have a firm date yet, but I'm going to tell you how it works. If you are a first-time home buyer, meaning that you have not owned a primary residence in the last 3 years, you may qualify for Hometown Heroes.
So somebody got divorced and the divorce ate up the old house and they've been renting for a little while, for 3 years. They did sell their primary. They've been living somewhere else.
Maybe their ex still lives in it, but they're still on the mortgage, but they haven't been in there 3 years. Then you can still qualify as a first-time home buyer.
Great.
If you have to make less than about $144,750 in this area. So if you make less than $144,000 a year, you're a first-time home buyer. You can get up to 5% of the loan amount, up to $35,000 towards your down payment and closing costs. Now, that is a phenomenal deal. There's no down payment assistance program that I know anywhere that allows you to make that much money. And typically it's the income that precludes most people from most down payment assistance programs. They generally exceed the county limits, which in Orange County, you're talking about $69,000. Well, what are you going to be able to find for $69,000 in income? You won't qualify for the average house anyway. So this really gives people a great deal of flexibility. So if coming up with your down payment tends to be your biggest hurdle, then you call me, because this money will only last for maybe 30 to 60 days. They haven't even decided whether it's going to be $50 million or $100 million. The House and the Senate are still battling back and forth with this. But either way, even if it's $100 million, that's only going to last for a month and a half, maybe 2 months tops,
Yep.
because you no longer have to be a hero, meaning you don't have to be a teacher,
First
you don't have to be a
responder,
veteran,
police.
you don't
Yeah.
have to be a first responder.
Yeah.
Anyone can qualify, provided you're a first-time home buyer. But in order to secure your funds, you must be fully approved for your financing. So I am a Hometown Hero lender. You can call, text, email, or go directly to my website, webringyouhome.com. Get the application started now, or you will miss. Don't you wait for June to happen to go, oh, I want some of that down payment assistance money I heard about. No, today.
Yep.
Get it started now.
Yeah, we've got some customers working on that.
All right.
So I just think, Bruce, go back. I want you to go back into, because I'm
time.
No, just back to DSCRs. We talked
Okay.
about that. Explain that again. Like, I've got a home I'm purchasing. I'm probably going to rent out.
So DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio. What it really means is these are for investors. This is not for a primary residence. Matter of fact, you have to own a home in order to get one. You cannot get a DSCR
if you don't own your primary. Oh,
already
wow.
have a
That's funny.
primary.
Okay. All right.
And the reason for
Didn't know
that,
that. You're always teaching me something.
the reason for that is because it's a non-QM loan, meaning it does not meet what's called the quality mortgage for primary residences. So you have to have a primary to get a DSCR. But what we're using for income is just the rent that the property you're purchasing produces. So if the rent's $3,000, then your mortgage payment can't be more than $3,000. If they're equal, that's all you need to qualify.
That's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance.
It's everything.
So like
PITI.
I just ran the numbers on a house that rents for $2,000, smaller villa style.
Then you got to have a payment of about $2,000
and taxes and insurance. So that means
With
about
everything.
about a $210,000 mortge.
probably.
It's about a $300,000. So you still need the 20, 25, 30%
You should always,
down.
on a DSCR, you want to put 20 to 30%
Yeah.
down typically.
You want a cash flow. Yeah.
I typically look at 25%, but if the rent is not going to produce that much, then you might have to put down
I just
30.
did, speaking of
It's
leapfrog,
super easy loan.
I just did the 4 quadrants of making money with a rental property, because this gentleman was up in the air about selling one of your clients. I think he's fast tracked already, but he's going to cash flow about $1,000 a month. His mortgage payment's $1,300 after management and everything. He's going to rent for 24, 25. So he's making over $1,000 there. The house is appreciating. He's in the 10th year of a 30-year mortgage. He's also in a neighborhood that's going to appreciate. The home has been renovated on the inside, so he doesn't have any big bills coming down the pipe. The roof's done, the AC's done in the last couple of years. All these things are done. Tax advantages. He was a landlord a while ago, and he sold that when he's thinking, gosh, I should have kept that. I just saw that those are selling for $250. I sold mine for $150 12 years ago. And all these things come into play. So he's literally looking at almost $30,000 a year on paper of income. And I'm just thinking appreciation is 2 or 3%. And so we went through all that with him, and he goes, wow, I should do that, right? I should rent. I said, what do you feel better about? I said, because he was kind of on the fence thinking, or he thought he wanted to sell. I did that for him. And he's like, whoa.
Well, it doesn't make sense to sell.
It doesn't make sense to sell and rent it out. I said, you could sock away money on this one, and you'll have this one paid off in 7-8 years.
You know, it's funny because I run into that question quite a bit when I've got people that want to be a move up buyer, right? So they feel like they need to sell their current home to buy the next one because they've outgrown it or whatever reason, right? But they have a great rate on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the things that's kept them from moving forward is they got a 3.5% rate. They don't want to go into a 6.
Turn it into an asset that pays you.
So this is my point. Don't sell it. Don't sell it. You don't have to put 20% down to buy your next property. All you have to do is keep that property. We'll rent it. You'll never see those rates again. Why don't we turn that property into a rental and start amassing some serious income from that property? And that's what Cleve and I teach in our Leapfrog program. If you're interested, all you have to do is call. I'll go over all the numbers with you. 407 250-9144, 407-250-9144, or webringyouhome.com. Cleve and I will be holding that class on June the 18th in Winter Park. You must register at webringyouhome.com. $25 per head to get in, $30 per couple. It is business. Don't come there and don't bring the kids and all that. We're going to get down to business. We're going to teach you everything you need to know so you can leave that room empowered on knowing what you need to do to start acquiring properties.
Yep.
Yes. So see what else we got going on in
Well,
here.
I just think just talking about that with the DSCRs and how many properties should you have? And this is really it's a personal question,
5.
but it's what I help people. That's the goal. I would
That's
say
my number.
if everybody had, that's generational
I've had
wealth.
more than 5, a lot more, but
Yep.
5 is a good number. It's
Yeah,
manageable.
but how do you start that? And it's funny. Our Leapfrog program, come to
the Leapfrog program. We'll show you.
Figure it out. We'll get you started, but they can have a new primary it has to be over a year.
Yeah. Well, you have to keep it for a year.
Keep it for a year, and then you can get another primary mortgage.
Correct. Keep buying primaries.
So keep buying primaries. And then what's going to happen is this is all going to snowball. I've got people going into their 4th Leapfrog homes this year and they'll do something this year. And it's funny because we're working, when rates come down, they've got 2, they'll be able to refinance. They lost PMI on number 2.
Sure.
Called the lender after 2 years and got rid of that because of appreciation. They sent a little extra principal in. So they're changing their payments. They're working on their cash flow. Rents are going up. One of the homes we started renting at $2,500. It's now at $3,200 5 years ago.
Right.
So all these things, this is what's important about having a good manager. I had a gentleman bringing me all of his rentals. He's bringing me 4. And I love this guy. I've sold houses for him. I've sold probably 5 for him over the last 15 years. He's a DBO listener. And his tenants, the lowest rent you could pay on anything, like $700 for a 3-2. They should all be $2,000.
Number one problem we see with people doing what we're teaching them is they rent to family, friends, or they don't increase,
or they say, "Oh, I don't want the tenant to move." Well, sometimes
you
want
rent
them to
to
move.
family, you're toast. I'm just going to tell you that right now. You're done.
If you were at market rent, you want to get them used to a raise every year. Rents has kind of plateaued last year. I've been raising them again slightly this year. Every once in a while, I'll get a tenant say, "Well, I'll just move." I go, "Okay, look around." And if they do say, "Okay, we are moving," then maybe I won't raise the rent if they are good and they are not a problem. I've got a couple right now. We just tell these people, they're complaining like they don't let my manager in for an inspection. Like we inspect the properties every 90 days. You can't do that. Like we need to see the condition. I want to make sure Fluffy didn't have kittens. I want to make sure Fido didn't have puppies.
Right.
I want to make sure that you were the only ones living there. I want to make sure the house is in good shape. You're not leaving wet towels everywhere. And the house
It's amazing how people will do that.
And they said no. And they said, well,
bring their boyfriends in. Now you got
boyfriend becomes roommate.
Family moving in there with you.
But if you don't do that, I'll send a notice to end the lease. But you also don't treat us with respect and take care of the house. We're not going to renew you. And we're not going to renew your lease too if we are close to the end of it. So you're kind of setting your own destiny. But I rarely have that problem, Bruce. I've got 90 great tenants. Let's say I got 85 great tenants and 5 that need to learn a little bit. But my job is take care of the property and produce maximum income for the landlord.
Yes.
And then advise them. Yeah. And that's when you've got to look at it. When you start going, oh my gosh, they're so sweet. And Junior's going to middle school next year and they love that school. That's not your problem. No. Your problem is your retirement. And you can't keep the rent the same. You can't raise it.
You can't remove the emotional aspect from it. Then
you are not a good landlord.
And then you know what? Go ahead and continue to buy the properties, but have Cleve manage them.
Yeah.
Don't manage them yourself.
Yep.
And when somebody comes to you with the sad story and the puppy dog eyes, to say, hey, you got to talk to my property manager. That's it. 407-250-9144 for the loan arranger. And Cleve Loveland can be reached at 407-352-8118 or the Loveland Report. Cleve and I will be back in 5 minutes with more of the Loveland Report and the Loan Arranger Show. We got more to talk about, things that are affecting your value and opportunities in the market. So don't go anywhere.